This is one of London's most historic streets. Once the heart of Britain's newspapers, it's easy to hurry through without noticing the history around you. That's why, backed by popular demand, my mum's joining me again to guide us through.
I did not know that.
From the boundary between Westminster and the City of London to the hidden courtyards of the Temple,
a lot of people just don't know it's here.
We'll uncover stories that make this area so unique.
Quite interesting, this.
Everything is interesting, Mum, when you start looking at it.
So let's start walking and see what we can find along Fleet Street.
Say hi, Mum. Hi. And Mum is going to take us on another little walk around a different area of London. So last time we finished it was all Westminster, wasn't it, last time?
Yeah.
And now, where are we going now?
We're going to look at the area that you come into when you leave the City of Westminster and you come into the City of London.
All right, let's do it. So we're just walking to the marker of the boundary of the City of London and the City of Westminster. Now, the City of London and the City of Westminster and the difference between the two is a very important thing that you need to know about London. So if you don't, my mum's going to explain about it.
London was founded by the Romans. That was in AD 43. They established the City of Londinium, as they called it, which came to be known as the City of London. They were here for about 400 years. Then there was an invasion by the Anglo-Saxons. The Anglo-Saxons established a second city alongside the City of London, and they called it the City of Westminster. So in the centre of London, to this day, we have two cities. City of London, the oldest part, City of Westminster, the newer part. And Greater London, that developed over the centuries following. Where we're standing now, we're right on the boundary between the City of Westminster and the City of London. You can see the dragon. That is the symbol of the City of London. So we know when we've crossed the boundary, left the City of Westminster, entered the City of London.
Right, and we're going to walk up Fleet Street into the city, aren't we?
Yes, we are, yeah.
We are just going to quickly jaunt into the City of Westminster because there's somewhere that Mum wanted to show me. But I don't think it's open, is it, Mum?
No, I think it opens at 11, so we're a bit too early. Right, let's look at this.
Yeah.
Established in 1706. Mm-hmm. It's the home of Twinings, which is a very famous tea company. Mm-hmm. And it's supplier of tea to the royal household, because looking up above the door, it's a little bit faded, but you can see by appointment of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
And that's what we looked at the other
We
video,
did, yes. So this is very much a long-time supplier of tea to the royal family. And it's a very narrow shop doorway. It's the narrowest shop doorway in London, but it's a bit of a TARDIS because it goes a long way back. And not only is it a tea shop where you can buy loose tea, you can also taste the tea, and there is a tea museum. Looking over the other side of the road, we can see the Royal Courts of Justice, a very grand palatial building. It was built during the reign of Queen Victoria, and the Victorian architects, they were very fond of the very ornate, decorative style. So there was nothing minimalist about the buildings that they built. And this is where very important civil court cases take place. An example of a court case that took place here in relatively recent times, if you remember the second wife of Paul McCartney, a marriage that didn't end well, and this was where the divorce case took place. Very often when I come past, there are journalists outside, paparazzi, if it's something newsworthy. It's also a place where you can do a tour that ends in you being able to watch a court case.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah, if there's one happening. Yeah. They don't guarantee it. And you can perhaps see by the lamppost there, we are still in the City of Westminster.
Oh, yeah.
Just here.
The City of Westminster on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not for very long.
No.
Because as soon as we've passed the dragon, we're in the City of London.
Yeah.
The two cities have a very different atmosphere. City of Westminster, it's all about theatres and shops and restaurants. City of London today is the business district. And we say that you go to the City of London to earn your money you come to the city of Westminster to spend it.
Mum, when the Anglo-Saxons came and established the city of Westminster, what happened to the city of London? Did they live together side by side, or was there any conflict? Or
The Romans had left London. They were here for about 400 years, but then the Roman legions, they were needed to fight other battles. They'd got other issues going on in other parts of the Holy Roman Empire. So they left London, and the city of London that they'd established, it was left pretty much deserted for a few centuries because the Anglo-Saxons were busy developing what became the city of Westminster. So it wasn't until probably about the 9th century, 10th century, that people started trading again from the City of London, and then it really developed during the medieval period. So there was that period where there wasn't much going on here.
when was this put up? Do you know? This monument?
That would be during the reign of Queen Victoria. Again, it's very ornate, so it's very much in the Victorian style.
Yeah.
Before this, there was an archway.
Oh, was there?
Yes, between the City of London and the City of Westminster.
Oh, okay.
And later on, I'll show you that. Rather independent from the rest of London.
Mm-hmm.
It's got its own police force. It's got its own Lord Mayor. It's got its own rules, some of them very archaic, its own local government. So it's a bit of a separate entity, and it covers an area of 1 square mile. And not many people live in the City of London. It's very much a business district, and it's the home of the financial sector of London, and it tends to be rather a quiet place at the weekends. Because all these sort of small businesses that are here, the shops, the cafes and so on, they're here to service the needs of the people that work here in the City of London. So no customers at the weekend, so they all close down.
So we're back in the City of London and we're going down Middle Temple Lane. Look how pretty this is.
So leaving behind the hustle and bustle of Fleet Street, this is a little oasis. And it's where members of the legal profession have their offices, and they do the training, so the barristers who work here. Very handy for the court over the road. And this area is called Temple, and it was named after the Knights Templars, who back in the 12th century were a group of crusading monks. They accompanied the pilgrims on their visits to Jerusalem. So they originally lived here, but then as time went by, they were replaced by the judges and the barristers. They've filmed some Downton Abbey London scenes down here, and it's got the original gas lights. Yes, anywhere where they want to film a scene in London, how London used to be. Obviously, move all the cars and the signs of 21st century life, but it's a pretty good representation of what London would have been like. So this is the Temple Church. It dates back to the 1100s, and it was built in the style of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. And you might notice it's a circular church, which is quite unusual there. So many films have been filmed down here, and the most recent one was very popular, the Da Vinci Code.
So I'm a member of the British Guild of Travel Writers, and we had our gala dinner in here one year, and you can't go in, it is close to the public, but it's so grand inside. It literally looks like the Great Hall at Hogwarts. I think I've got some pictures from the event. Can you ever go in, do you know, Mum?
Yes, I thought that the public could book to have lunch there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me just check that.
All right.
So today, for example, soup of the day,
Oh, it's quite cheap.
vegetarian, yeah.
Mushroom katsu, pickled daikon, green beans, katsu sauce, £10.30.
Yeah.
That's less than what you pay in Nando's
I know.
these days. So you can book to eat here, and it is actually not that expensive. You're looking about £5.50 for a starter, from £10.50 for a main, up to about £14.50, and again about a £5 for a dessert. For central London, that is a really good price, and the venue is honestly amazing. Is that just on the Middle Temple website?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
3-course meal for £28?
Yeah.
was well cheap.
Yeah.
Now, I will write a full blog post to accompany this video, like I always do. So I'll put all information about booking lunch here, along with information about every other stop that we visit and Google Maps pins along the way. So if you want to check out that blog post, then scan this QR code or head to the link which will be in the description of this video.
Middle Temple Hall, it was built in the 1500s, and it was built as a dining hall for the members of the legal profession. And as part of the legal training of a barrister, they have to attend 12 dinners here. It's quite a sort of old traditional system to become a barrister in this country, and that is one of the requirements, to have eaten 12 dinners in this particular hall. But there is a little coffee shop as well, which is what we're going to try and find now, I think.
Ah, so this is why it's called the garden room.
Yes.
Yeah, you could be in stately home somewhere, couldn't you? Not in the middle of London.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
And I came here, it was a Friday early evening. We just came in for a cup of tea. But the members of the legal profession, they were already signing off for the weekend, and it was a bit of an after-work drink place for them.
Okay.
But it's very quiet,
Yeah,
you know.
it's nice.
10:25 on a Thursday morning. They're all working
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
And just to sort of orientate you a little bit, that's the embankment. So the River Thames is just there.
Literally just there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So this little area is sandwiched between the Victoria Embankment and the River Thames and Fleet Street.
Cool.
And a lot of people just don't know it's here. So I mentioned that City of London is very much the home of banking. It's the home of the Bank of England, and right opposite there is a branch of the Bank of England, or a former branch I should say, because today it's a pub. And it's not open at the moment, but look through the windows, you can see how grand it is. You see the chandeliers there, and they have a garden round the back. And in the garden, they've got a red double-decker bus.
Is it an independent pub, do you know?
It's owned by a brewery, Mullins, I believe it is. Most of the pubs in London are owned by breweries. And then I think we'd be better on the other side of the road. We get a view over to this surviving building from the Great Fire of London. A very significant event in London's history was the Great Fire of London, which was in 1666, and it started in a bakery in Pudding Lane. And the baker was a little bit silly. He went to bed, he forgot to extinguish the fire in the oven. And during the night, the fire took hold, and the buildings were all made of wood, thatched roofs. It was like a tinderbox, all went up in flames. 80% of the City of London was destroyed, and all of Fleet Street was destroyed, apart from this building. That was the only surviving building in Fleet Street. This building was built in the earlier part of the 1600s. Today it's owned by the City of London Corporation, and they lease out office space to the government of Catalonia. And you can see their flag. Actually, you can't see it very well from here. But they do display their flag. To explain why this is called Fleet Street, it's named after the River Fleet, which is a tributary of the River Thames. It's a subterranean river, so we can't see it. It's flowing beneath our feet. And nowadays it's used more for sewage dispersal, so it feeds into the sewage system on the embankment, but that's where it got its name from. And on the street sign you can see the emblem of the City of London, with the flag of St George and then the two dragons either side.
I did not know that.
So Fleet Street used to be known as the home of the British press. We've got here on this red brick building the names of some of the newspapers that used to be published here. That all came to an end in the 1980s because the offices weren't really fit for purpose, too small, not enough modern amenities. So our newspapers all moved out mostly to the new Docklands area. The old London Docks was transformed into a business district in the 1980s and early 1990s. Some newspapers do retain a Fleet Street address just as out of prestige, sort of old traditional touch.
So we're just in front of El Vino here, and this bar got a bit of a reputation for the wrong kind of news back in the early 1980s. So in 1982 there was a court case against the wine bar because they were refusing to serve women at the bar, and instead they were requiring to sit in a back room and take table service. A few people did try to take action. This was against the Gender Discrimination Act of 1975, and also obviously was just wrong, just sexist. But everyone was unsuccessful until a solicitor surnamed Jill and a journalist who's a surname Coote. So it's called the Jill and Coote against the El Vino case. And the journalist and solicitor combo did ultimately win. And it's wild to think of now. I mean, that would have been 43 odd years ago. It's only 10 years before I was born. Pretty wild, isn't it? That was. I mean, you were a working.
I was working in London.
You were a working professional, weren't you?
I was, yes.
And there were still
restrictions like
yeah,
that.
it's awful, isn't it? Presumably, it's that's no longer the case, but a bit of a not so good history.
It's not open, so we can't go and try, can we?
We can't go and ask, yeah. This is Dr. Johnson's house here. Who was Dr. Johnson?
All I know is he wrote the first dictionary.
Oh, okay.
And he had a... Oh, yeah, it's quite interesting, this.
Everything is interesting, Mum, when you start looking at it.
Oh, it is. It is. It's a... You go down rabbit holes, that's the trouble.
Yeah. Dr. Johnson was a famous writer and lexicographer, and he's most well known for creating the first English dictionary. And he is pretty well known for his quote, "When a man is tired of London, he is tired of life." And it's a nice little reminder of what we're doing in this video and related videos, because I think there's just so much to explore in every nook and cranny of London. You could never really see it all. Where's his house?
Right, so yet another pub in Fleet Street, very famous one, Ye Old Cheshire Cheese. And Samuel Johnson, who lived just around the corner, this was one of his haunts. Also Charles Dickens, so very much a writer's pub, a journalist's pub. Unfortunately, a victim of the Great Fire in 1666, but it was very hastily rebuilt. So the building we see here dates back to 1667. And they have a list of all the kings and queens who've been on the throne during the pub's history. It's bang up to date. So they've got a new piece at the bottom. They've added King Charles III. So this church is called St Bride's. It's rather an appropriate name. The architecture of this church was the inspiration for the wedding cake. An apprentice of a baker in Fleet Street, he was engaged to be married to his boss's daughter, and he really wanted to bake a cake to be enjoyed at the wedding breakfast. So he was looking out of his window one day and he saw this church, and that was the inspiration for the wedding cakes that we still have today, with all the layers and the tiers. And this church is known as the Journalist's Church, and inside they have a journalist's altar. Many memorials to journalists who've travelled to dangerous parts of the world, sadly lost their lives while reporting on conflict in war zones.
So we've come to St Paul's Cathedral. Not a hidden gem at all. When does it date back to, Mum?
Well, there have been 5 churches on this site.
Yeah.
And church number 4 burnt down in the Great Fire of London, was replaced by this one.
Yeah.
So the building work started in 1675.
Yeah.
And it was all done and dusted by 1710. So it took just 35 years.
Yeah, wow.
Which is pretty quick for a building like this.
Very quick, yeah. It's huge.
English Baroque style, which is very unusual back then for an English church.
Not a hidden spot.
It is not a hidden spot.
Have you got anything exciting to say?
Well, it's where Charles and Diana were married.
Yeah.
It's where Winston Churchill's funeral took place. Admiral Lord Nelson and Duke of Wellington are buried in the crypt here. You can climb right up to the top, to the Golden Gallery, or below that's the Stone Gallery. Inside you've got the Whispering Gallery, where if there are only 2 of you, and I've never been up there with just one other person, So if you whisper against the wall, because of the acoustics, they can hear what you're saying over the other side. And this is where the little old bird woman in Mary Poppins, she came to the early each day on the steps of St Paul's to sell her bird food. Masterpiece of Sir Christopher Wren. He pretty much rebuilt London after the Great Fire. Now all the little churches, most of them are his work, and it only took 35 years. It was very quick, so he saw it completed before he died. Winston Churchill, he was quite adamant that at all costs St Paul's Cathedral must survive, because it would have been very bad for our morale to have seen that razed to the ground. So every evening volunteer firefighters were up on the roof during the Blitz deflecting the bombs. So very dangerous work. And they've got an exhibition, a free outdoor exhibition at the moment about the Watch, as they were called. And this is Temple Bar. So we saw earlier the dragon when we entered the City of London, leaving behind the City of Westminster. But prior to that, this is what straddled Fleet Street, this archway. But just imagine how congested it got.
Double deckers wouldn't get through.
Well, I think it was before then, but you know, even horse-drawn carriages trying to get through. And then as traffic developed, became more modern, there's absolutely no way that was going to be practical. So it was dismantled, and then it was brought here and re-erected.
So this is the free rooftop terrace of One New Change. You've got St Paul's Cathedral there. You've also got the Old Bailey, which has the symbol of justice there. Yeah, you got anything else to say about?
The very sleek building that you can see with the straight side and the curved side, that's an apartment block. And various nicknames. We like to give nicknames for these modern buildings. The pregnant woman, the boomerang, the cocktail shaker, I've heard it called all of those. And then the building that you can see, the red brick building with the chimney, that's the Tate Modern. That's an old power station which closed down in the 1970s and reopened in the year 2000 as a modern art gallery, free to enter. And the architect who designed it, who was called Giles Gilbert Scott, he also designed the red telephone box. Then we can also see the electric shaver, which is the building with the 3 circles at the top. They're air conditioning units. And then you've got the Shard, and also got some of the buildings from the City of London. Bit of a building boom in the 1990s, but we'll cover that in the next video.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mum.
That's all right, my pleasure.
So I think that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed our little walk around Fleet Street, and we will be doing another video where we'll cover much more of the City of London. That will be coming up a bit later on in the year, but today I am about to take a GWR train back west where I live, and I'm having a first-class dining experience on it. So if you're interested in that, then make sure you're subscribed. If you're sticking around, I recommend checking out this video, which we filmed in January, which is some hidden corners of Westminster that most tourists miss. And I hope I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.